Hello and thanks for coming back. In this lesson, we'll take a look at creating a water plane reference surface that ties in with our MLLW level elevation. We'll look at constructing the existing pier with floor and columns to represent the piers. And we'll take a look at starting out that process. To start with, make sure that you open the file 02 site plus SC, short for shared coordinates. Once you have that file open, go into the site plan view from Project Browser, select your topo surface, and go down to the bottom middle of your screen and click the glasses. This is your temporary hide isolate tool, and we're going to temporarily hide the topo surface. Now that we've done that, what we want to do is we want to focus on creating a water surface. To do that, go to your Architecture tab and look for the Floor tool. When you click that tool, it'll start out with the default 6-inch concrete slab. What we're going to do though is we're going to take that and we're going to duplicate it to create a new floor type. So go ahead and hit Edit Type, click Duplicate, and we'll call this Water Plane. Click OK, and then we're going to go in to edit the structure. So if you click Edit, that will allow us to edit the structure. We'll give it a thickness of, let's say 1 inch. And then material, if you click on the name, you'll notice how it gives you a little browse button. Click on the name, click the browse, and we're going to create a new material to apply to this object. So if you come down to the bottom left corner, drop down the sphere with the plus, click Create New Material, right click on the new material that says Default New Material and choose to rename. We'll call it Water. And then this button on the bottom left is our asset browser, and this asset browser will allow us to search for a water material to apply to the material that we just made. So if you search in the box for water, grab the tropical blue, just go ahead and double click that, and that'll load it into our material. Click on the graphics screen. We'll set the color to something bluish. We'll go ahead and click OK. We'll click OK again, and a third time. The next thing that we want to do is we want to construct our floor object. So we'll start and select the line creation tool. We'll pick 2 endpoints there. We'll pick another 2 endpoints here. And then we'll type TR on the keyboard to trim those 2 objects together. Now for the shoreline portion of the water, we're going to use the Pick Line tool. Select that tool and hover your mouse over the contour line that's in between the deck outline for where the restaurants are and the first part of the lifeguard tower pop-out. If you hover your mouse over one of those contour lines and then press the Tab key on your keyboard once and let go immediately. So you just tap the Tab key real quick and then left click, it will automatically select all of the lines along that contour line. The next thing you can do is type TR again and trim those end segments together. And actually we want one more straight segment along the top here. So we'll trim that and we'll trim that. And that forms the sketch footprint of our floor that's really our water surface. Once you've done that, you should have a pretty good outline of where the water is located. Now, if you turn off or reset your temporary hide, you should begin to see where the water line is versus the land line. Starting to look pretty good. The next thing that we need to do is build a floor surface for our pier and the deck for the restaurants and other buildings that are on our pier. So again, we'll go ahead and choose to start a floor, but this time I'm going to switch to my structure tab, click the floor tool, which will create a structural floor, and I'm going to change my properties type. I'm going to switch to the let's do the concrete 6-inch slab. We're going to modify it anyways. We'll click duplicate. We'll call it 12-inch wood deck. Click OK and go into edit your structure. Make that 12 inches thick. And again, we'll edit the material. This time we're going to look for a wood material that's already loaded into our scene. And we'll just choose softwood lumber and click OK. OK, OK. And then again, we're going to start to create our deck. This time I'm going to use the Pick Lines tool. If I hit the Tab key while hovering over the edge, Revit very nicely outlines our entire pier. Left click to place all those lines. And let's see what it gave us over here at the building footprint. So we have a little bit of cleanup to do here, but that's okay. That's a huge jump start on getting our pier traced. We'll go ahead and leave Pick Lines selected. We'll pick our back face, our outside face. That line's already there, and we'll pick this face as well. Then all we have to do is go back, delete these extra lines that it put in, close our final gap, and hit the check mark to finish that floor. Now, our floor seems to have disappeared, but I realize that we've got a slight problem here. Our floor is not set to the correct level. Since our floor is still selected, we can choose which level it's tied to in this drop-down list, and we'll choose top of existing pier. When I slide my mouse off properties, our pier should appear. One thing it did is in this view it placed our span direction symbol. You can go ahead and select and delete that for now. The other thing that we'll want to do is place our buildings on this footprint. And as we begin to place our buildings out here, we'll place walls and roofs. We're not too concerned with them, so from the Architecture tab, I'm just going to choose a generic 6-inch wall. And again, I'll use my Pick Lines tool. The first thing I should have done, though, is gone to the correct view. Let me switch to my top of existing pier view. Again, I'll start my wall tool, generic 6-inch, Pick Lines tool, and we want the location line to be finish face exterior, so that as we begin to place these, they'll go inside my line. And you can see that placing these is pretty simple. There'll be a little bit of cleanup to do here. We'll use the split line function on our modify panel to split that wall, and then we'll trim to get those corners filleted. One last trim over here on the left, and that'll get our walls put into place. One last thing that we can do is we can create our roof footprints. Depends on how close you want to try and get to the actual building footprint. For me, I'm just going to create a simple sloped roof. You're welcome to fine-tune it if you want based on the aerial footage. Choose a basic generic 9-inch roof, and I'll pick supports. And I'll go ahead and finish. Now again, we need to have an offset, so we'll just give it an offset of 10 feet. It's gone ahead and disappeared from our view because it's above our view range, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and make our second roof. And again, we'll pick supports. You can always hold down your mouse over the wall, hit tab once, and then click to place those lines all in one shot. Check, give it an offset, you're good to go. So now if we look at that 3D view that we configured previously, we begin to see our roofs starting to take place on the pier with our walls and our deck outline. Hopefully this helps you get some ideas on how you can start to create some in-place context within your project. Having a water surface, having a deck surface, relevant building data that's nearby, and you haven't spent too much time, but you have a good frame of reference for where your buildings are at. Thanks for watching, and come back for the next one.